UFC 299 is coming up here in your backyard. I mean, what are the fights that you're looking forward to on this fight card?
299. I mean, you look at first fight on that main card right now. They have Yadong taking on Petr Yan. It's a crazy fight. And then you've got Dustin Poirier taking on the French guy, I don't want to butcher his last name.
You guys, I don't want to butcher it either. Can you guys? Can our producer give us the Francois?
And then you've got Michael Venom Page, the new UFC signee, taking on Kevin Holland. And then you've got Gilbert Durinho Burns taking on JDM. They call him JDM, taking on JDM. And then you've got Marlon Vera taking on Sean O'Malley.
Oh, Schmally. I'm still he still has a nickname for me. But I think the fight that really kind of comes to my eyes, the fight that really comes to my eyes, because he could potentially go in there and really kind of spoil the party for a lot of people. Is that Saint? Can we get his?
Yeah, the Saintess or this Saint something? The kid from
can I produce
Benoit Saint Denis?
Yeah, Benoit Saint Denis. Is that right? Is that right?
Bad. I hate when people butcher my name. So
Benoit Saint Denis. There's a guy like stylistic. There's a guy like that. Does he have a chance is it a 3-round fight too?
3-round fight.
Does he have a chance against a guy like Dustin Poirier? Because if he does, let's say hypothetically he does beat a guy like Dustin Poirier,
the both southpaw,
he could potentially sneak in there depending on how is it that he does it, maybe for a title shot.
So the crazy thing here is and we mentioned earlier, it's when you have that belief in yourself, that unwavering delusion that guy's not even ranked, I don't believe, and he's taking on, or he's ranked really low, and he's taking on Dustin Poirier. And I mean, he has a chance to go in there. He hits hard, he's fast, he's aggressive, which, all recipes to help you be successful. But the problem too is a guy like Dustin Poirier is a guy that
good defense, power in his hands.
He still got that it's almost like a edge that he carries with him. He's got that chip on his shoulder all time with all these young guys calling him out. We saw this with Dan Hooker. Remember when Dan Hooker was on the rise?
Yeah.
Dan Hooker called him out.
Cheap Hooker.
And we saw him go in there, make work of Dan Hooker, and get up. He was
cheap Hooker.
Hey, I ain't say that, dog. But he went in there and proved him wrong. And I think he has that chip on the shoulder all times of calling me out. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna put it on you. So I'm expecting that from him.
Dustin Poirier does win this fight. Where does that put Dustin Poirier, especially after having a devastating knockout with Justin Gaethje? Where does that lead a guy like Dustin Poirier?
No, me and DC had a talk like this when we sat on the desk for 30 greatest fighters in UFC. And we talked a little bit briefly about Hall of Fame, as it pertains to being in the Hall of Fame. And DC was kind of particular on, no, there's got to be some sort of criteria here to how you get into the Hall of Fame. and he was like, yeah, certain guys shouldn't get in the Hall of Fame just because they were fan favorites or great guys.
Yeah.
But when you look at a guy like Dustin Poirier, it's very difficult not to put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, interim champion. Yes, he was never undisputed, but interim champion, and was willing to take on all comers and go out there and put it on the line.
Right, but can I tell you something though too? And not to play the devil's advocate, but I'm going to play the devil's advocate. He's also been submitted. He's been knocked out on different occasions.
Yes.
I mean, I think part of that stuff too, as much as he has gone through these wars, he has also been stopped, and I think that's one position where I'm just like, damn, Dustin. Like that, I'd say, does he get in? Do they open that door for him? You know what I'm saying?
But so, I don't think we can lay it on that alone because.
Right. I 100% agree with you.
I've been stopped. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that right there, and we could argue. I mean, not
yeah,
arguably.
No. I got you. That's a whole nother subject.
That's a whole nother subject.
But if he makes it, I wouldn't be surprised. And if he makes it, I'd be happy for him.
Yeah, 100%.
But moving on.
Yeah,
Michael Venom Page.
Yes.
You know, the Bellator, the former Bellator contender, the former, he never really made it to the PFL, but obviously he's beating the likes of Diego Lima, dude. People don't understand. If you're able to beat a guy like Diego Lima, Did he beat
Diego Lima?
He did.
Which Diego? The
brother.
To Douglas Lima.
I'm sorry. Was it Douglas or Diego?
No, he didn't beat Douglas. Douglas was the Bellator champion.
Yeah, Douglas.
He didn't beat Douglas.
I want to say, can you guys look that up real quick? He did beat Douglas
No,
Lima.
he didn't.
He beat him in that rematch. That's why I was impressed.
They had a rematch?
They had a rematch. Michael Venom Page lost.
Won the second one.
By what decision?
Decision split.
But that's what I'm saying.
I didn't even
if
see
you're
that
able
fight.
to beat a guy like that, and you're going up against a Kevin Holland who just loves to entertain, who's pretty unorthodox. Yeah. Like Michael Venom Page could be, especially with the karate style that he has, which we saw Kevin Holland in the past have trouble with guys like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I feel like, and I like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
True.
But I also feel like Michael Venom Page has just more tools, man. He anticipates more. He throws that right hand when people come in. He's got those crazy jumping knees with the right side. He caught Cyborg. Like, I think he's dangerous. And I think he'll win over Kevin Holland, which I do believe he's going to beat a guy like Kevin Holland. Puts in a position where he could become a fan favorite star to on his way to potentially become a contender.
I agree. I do think a guy like Kevin Holland is a great fight for your coming out party. It's a great fight. I don't think the Kevin Holland, I think is he's a fighter, but I don't think the degree of difficulty is as severe as opposed to a guy that's going to go in there and take you down, hold you down, and beat on you until you don't want to fight anymore. And so I love this fight for him. I like the fight for both because Kevin Holland is a guy that can shock people. He'll come in if you're not respecting him, he'll spark you. So and MVP has had a little time away from the cage. Yeah. So I'm anxious to see how this is going to play out with this is a new audience now. It's a new stage. You've been in fights before in the cage, but it's different under those UFC lights. Yeah. It's different when you're walking up and it's Sylvester Stallone sitting right there next to you. It's Joe Rogan right there. It's all these celebrities, all these superstars sitting right there watching you, waiting for you to fight. So it's different.
Yeah,
so
it's
I'm anxious to see.
Different.
I'm anxious to see how he adapts to the lights. But he's a showman. And I'm excited for that fight.
I think the only celebrity Bellator has ever had was that Demi Lovato. Anyhow, moving on, dude.
Don't do him like that. They got celebrity. I went to a Bellator fight.
So did, no, I you know what? I'm gonna say this about Bellator.
Burna Boy went to a Bellator fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say this about Bellator. Their VIP section was fucking way better than UFC's, bro.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah. The way they closed it off, because we're able to kind of just be near the cage or whatnot, and we're not separated. You know what I'm saying? It was just cool, man. We can walk, be near the cage and stuff like that. But anyhow, moving forward, I think the biggest sleeper at UFC 299 is Petr Yan versus Song Yadong. I mean, could a guy like Petr Yan come back from, and I've been there too, maybe not as bad as Petr, but by getting destroyed by Merab Dvalishvili. At least I want a fucking round. I want one out of the 2 rounds. And I was hurting. And I had an injury. But anyhow, a guy like Song Yadong, talking a little bit to Uriah Faber, and there's one thing that he did tell me, like, after my fight, he's like, Henry, stick around, number 1. But he's like, 2, man, you know the guy that's coming? His name is Song Yadong. The dude has crazy power. And he says, hey, and this dude has wrestling. He's going to pull it out of his back pocket. His jiu-jitsu is so underrated. And I think from the past fight, from what you see with, from what Merab was able to do to a guy like Petr Yan and fatigue him, you start to wonder if a guy like Song Yadong will literally pull out some of that wrestling on top of the great striking that he does have. Because if he does, I can easily see him beat a guy like Petr Yan pretty decisively.
I mean, I think Song Yadong is a dark horse in that division, but at the same time, Petr Yan is no slouch. Like I know the Marab fight was tough, but you're talking about a guy
Talk to me
Marab
about
that weaponizes that pace because he knows. And I've been
Motherfucker!
I've been there. I've been that guy that weaponized my pace. There's been a couple fights where I weaponized it. And so, and when you do that with certain guys, it works in your favor. So I don't necessarily think a guy like Song Yadong fights like that. He's going to weaponize that pace. And especially a 3-round fight, it's different. So
Yeah.
I think that's a banging fight. That's a good fight to open up the card. I mean, it's a spectacular fight. I think Hunter and Dana and
Who gets it done Kamaru?
They did a great job with this.
If you had to pick.
If I had to pick, you know what? I'm tired of seeing all these young guys come in there and these new guys and beat us. And they call us old. Y'all are the old guys. I'm tired of it. Petr Yan, come on. I'm going for Petr Yan.
Okay, all right, cool. And then let's talk about your former teammate still. Dorino. I'm not sure who it is that he's
fighting the Australian kid.
Okay. Oof.
Yeah, that Australian kid is
That,
legit.
that's that new generation. You're talking about that new generation that's coming up,
Yeah.
motherfucker, man. I was
just
impressed with this dude.
disrespectful.
Who did he fight last?
Oh,
I'm
no,
sorry, man. I'm a bit unprepared here.
His last outing wasn't the greatest. He fought Basil for another training partner of mine out of Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And Basil is a great striker. He's just a little bit unknown, but the kid can fight.
Yeah.
And he took the fight on a week's notice, I believe, went in there, made weight, and gave JDM a run for his money. He let JDM know that, hey, you think you're ready, you're calling out these top guys, but hey, you still need to do a little bit of work.
Yeah.
And so,
not just that, but let me tell you something too. That you train in Colorado, that altitude is a bitch. That altitude gives you like an extra heartbeat, dude. Like you're able to,
but it really plays a factor if you're competing at that level.
Yeah.
It's like you train there the whole time at the OTC, and guys come up there to wrestle at the Schultz. You got an advantage.
Yeah, those shit the bad.
Yeah, but when you have to go, you have to come down to Miami and fight, and these guys train in Miami, and they're in shape in Miami. What's the advantage?
Yeah, true that. Well, it's yet to be seen, but that new generation's coming up, and I do want to feel like I do want to go for, Gilbert Burns, just for the simple fact that experience. Could he be that experience? And obviously he's fighting in his backyard.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing with Gilbert, because I've seen him cut weight before, I think he needs to cut his weight a little bit different. I've been there before cutting weight with him. Just like, man, he the plastic stuff and then that hot ass room. I think if there's one thing that I feel like he should change up to be a better fighter, just maybe get into the tub and just deplete the water out. Man. That fight with Bilal Muhammad, I can honestly say is like I fought the same shit because I did the same thing as Dorino. It'll zap you a little bit if you don't cut that weight right.
Yeah,
you can make it, but making it is not the issue. Can you make it right?
Yeah.
Are you gonna feel 100% the next day?
I agree. I do think that's a big key. That's a very important key is making the weight the proper way so where you could be able to perform the following day. That's a great fight. Of course, I'm rooting for Dorino to get the job done. I think where he does have an advantage here is the grappling.
Yeah.
If he's able to, because even in that fight, his last fight, JDM showed that he lacks a little bit in that grappling division. He was taken down multiple times, and I think it's if Gilbert is able to take him down, Gilbert could potentially
his top control's nasty.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things about Gilbert.
Absolutely.
Burns top control, Jesus.
Yeah.
ADCC champ, right? Former champ.
Yeah. World champion.
Like actual ADCC
Jiu-Jitsu world champ. And you saw it in
not these local every weekend IBJJ world championships. Like, no, I think the only world championship that the jiu-jitsu really does have in comparison when we talk about wrestling, there's only one, dude. When you say you're a world champ, like, what the fuck? Like, I know who you are.
Yeah.
It's ADCC in my eyes.
Well, Gilbert's a real deal on the ground, for sure. And I think if he's able to get the fight there, I think he definitely has the advantage in that realm. But the one thing too is JDM is no slouch. He's very patient, very patient. He knows how to build a fight, which is very rare for young guys going in the fight.
Yeah, exactly. He just hit the nail on the head. There's an IQ to him.
Yeah.
That's very underrated. I don't think there's a competitor in there where he could fight, but there's there's a competitor in this dude that makes him dangerous. I'm excited to see that fight now that I know that he's fighting Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
But moving on to the main event, obviously we got Sean O'Malley versus Cejudo Vera. When I look at this fight, Sean has gone better. Sean has his fakes, his feints, his recognition. Obviously, you have wins over Petr Yan, and you have a win over Aljamain Sterling. Man, that's talk about a confident booster. Right now, he's on his high horse, but he also lost to a dude that's just as tall as him, a dude that has beat him, a dude that's pretty much broken him down with just leg kicks. And they weren't that hard. I rewatched the fight yesterday, as a matter of fact. Could Sean O'Malley make that adjustment with the stance? Could Cejudo Vera come in, push the pace on him, good defense, have the ability to take punches? I think the biggest thing for me is allow Sean O'Malley, if I'm Cejudo Vera, allow Sean O'Malley to just continue to keep throwing. Allow him to just, you know why? Because this is what he does, Kamaru. He'll look at the clock. And he gets tired, man. When you do that, like even if you hit a punching bag, you're just throwing all your force, there's going to be a time where that tank is going to be on E. And I feel like if Cejudo Vera is able to really, stalk him, let him throw good defense, take a lot of his punches and kicks, but be able to have good defense, maybe even lose the first couple rounds, but eventually pick it up in the third, fourth, and I can see a stoppage within that fifth round. Call me crazy, Kamaru Usman, but I feel like I'm talking facts.
I think you are crazy. I don't agree. I think Sean is just it is true. It's something about when you become a champion, but you've believed it. You've believed this delusion in your mind for a long time that I'm gonna be champion. You believe the delusion even no one else did, but when it actually happens, it's like, oh what? Oh shit, I'm him. As they say now, I'm him, and I think Sean believes he's him. His timing is going to be incredible. It's already incredible, but I think it's going to be there. He's patient. He can find that shot. And I think from what I've seen I love Cejudo Vera. I love him. I like watching him fight. And personally, he's a freaking great dude. I just think Sean O'Malley is just faster, sharper, and just his timing, his movement, I think he's going to find the shot. Because and I like you mentioned, yeah, you can you just hitting the punching bag the whole time, and he looks at the clock. Yeah, he does look at the clock, but he's 100% accurate. He's not missing anything. But I think he should be so sharp this time to where, he doesn't miss these. He puts him in the right places. He might get a stoppage.
Yeah, but you can have all of that, Kamaru. But does he have the grit? You know what I'm saying?
Think he does.
Does he truly have that grit? I personally, of course.
Well,
you fight 100%.
I think it takes okay, you're right. I think it takes a certain guy to bring it out.
Yeah, that's my biggest question mark.
I don't know if Cejudo Vera is that guy. I don't know if Cejudo is that guy. I love Cejudo.
Marab,
I don't
Marat.
to be honest,
Marab's gonna fuck him up, dude. I promise you.
To be honest, even with that fight, I'm not necessarily sure Marab is that guy.
He would have to catch Marab super early, like I did with
you
that
caught
left hook.
Marab.
He recovered, dude. I'm like, damn, this dude. Same thing happened with Marlon Moraes. Marlon Moraes hit him with the right, or maybe even was a left, the same left. The dude was like stunned a little bit, then he comes back. He's like a fucking zombie. But whatever it is Sean O'Malley, he could catch him. If he beats him, he does beat him early. If he doesn't,
no, of course.
If he doesn't,
the later that fight goes,
Marab is just gonna drown him, dude.
I agree.
Marab's gonna drown him.
It could be another guy on the card. Song Yadong. If he's able to go out there and make a statement with Petr Yan, like that's a scary freaking guy. If he stops Petr Yan, that scares me.
Yeah, the bantamweight division is absolutely crazy.
On fire.
It's absolutely nuts.
Oh no! And before we go, you can't. We got to throw my boy in there, who I think is the dark horse of that division. Corey Sandhagen is a sniper.
Well, if that's the case, then
is a sniper.
okay. Can I tell you the real dark horse of the division?
Who?
Umar
as well.
Nurmagomedov. They're gonna
But-
fight. They're
but
gonna
I
be
need to see
scheduled.
that, yeah.
Umar fights this weekend. Once this fight is over, you guys are gonna see how Umar is just the real deal,
Who's he
man.
fighting?
He's fighting some dude from Kazakhstan, like a
but I
newcomer,
don't-
but
I don't-
nobody
but I
wants
don't
to
think
fight
that-
him, dude. And I can see why.
No, Corey
He's super
Sandhagen took that
technical,
fight.
understands distance. He's a finisher. To me, in my eyes, right now, the most dangerous guy at 135 pounds, it's Umar Nurmagomedov.
Umar,
And
I
this is
believe
after
so.
me. This is after me losing to a guy like to Marab.
I
You know
do.
what I'm saying?
I do
Like
believe
this is. I'm telling you,
those,
Umar.
those four guys I think are the most dangerous guys in that division. Umar, Song Yadong,
Sandhagen.
Corey Sandhagen, and Marab.
Yeah.
I think those four guys are. Shoot, honestly, Bantamweight could arguably be the deepest
It's the
division.
Toughest, it's the toughest division, bro. It really.
I
is,
mean,
man.
it's
you have
tough.
all these former champs, dude. That, I mean, myself. I mean, Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo's still in the picture. You know, Frankie Edgar
But
at that time.
I don't put Jose Aldo in the pick. I think Jose Aldo is still a great fight, but Jose Aldo putting him up against Merab Dvalishvili, come on now.
Yeah, no.
Put him up against Sonya Don, come on now.
Yeah.
Even Corey Sandhagen, I think runs circles around a lot of guys.
No, 100%. Corey's fucking dangerous. I've always said that since the beginning. I'm like, I've always been super high on Corey, but I don't think Corey ever becomes UFC champion
I don't know.
if Umar Nurmagomedov's there or Merab.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that. That fight's gonna happen.
135 pounds is it's a freaking banger. Like it's crazy, man. Like every fight there is you know, I think you get the most technical and tactical fights at 135 pounds. Not saying that 170 or 55 ain't it, but when it comes to like just the levels of competitive, like anybody at any day could become champ, it is at 135 pounds. I mean, I got nothing else, Kamaru, but I just want to say, you know, this is, you know, we're going to be breaking news for pound. We're going to be breaking the latest news, whether it's the UFC coming
cage.
up, some drama for your mama. But either way, I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, a.k.a. Triple C.
And the Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman.
And we are out.